Hello and welcome to another Friday afternoon live. We're here in a distinctly autumnal Two Sportsmen pub in the West End. I think outside is autumnal, I'm not sure whether the pub is autumnal. It's lovely to have you back to join us for another Concierge Periscope update. I'm Kevin Reid, the editor. It's lovely to have you, and if it's your first time, welcome. Great to have you on board. We're going to discuss a few things today. Grant Thornton shared ownership scheme update, and we'll also talk about more EU tax shenanigans, specifically involving Fiat and Starbucks, but what the ramifications of the EU ruling could mean. Lots going on around the Concierge and Financial Director at the moment. We've launched the Business Finance Awards, which is effectively the awards that are presented and sponsored by Financial Director. Lots of awards around CFOs and FDs and their finance functions. We also cover finance teams and some service provider awards this year, which is really cool. So we have an accounting advisor of the year. So if any accountants out there watching that provide services to CFOs in the finance function, check that out. I'm going to read the URL out, so yeah, please bear with me. It's events.financialdirector.co.uk/business finance awards. And quite frankly, if you search business finance awards in Google, you'll find it anyway. But let's move on to the stories. So anyway, we spoke to Sasha Romanovich, Grant Thornton's managing partner, chairman, chief, head honcho, however you want to describe her, and asked her about the big plans that scheme. This is quite interesting. It's been kicking around for a little while now. So back in May, they announced that they were going to start a consultation on effectively kind of a John Lewis style model of sharing profits and ownership among everyone within the firm. And we've been expectantly awaiting details of that. Back at the time in May, obviously this was launched with great fanfare as far as the consultation was concerned. And they said that we'd have a lot more detail and an update by the 1st of July. You may have noticed it's not July, it's October, and it's been all quiet on the Western Front as far as that's concerned. So we've been pushing Grant Thornton over the last couple of weeks to provide us with an update of where they are. Sasha has provided us with an update. It just doesn't have much detail really, but basically there's going to be a partner meeting later on in the year, probably in November, where the shared ownership model will be discussed again, and maybe we'll find out more detail then. Obviously, we think it's quite ironic that, you know, at the end of the day, the current partners in the firm are going to have a huge say on how the shared ownership model is going to work, in terms of kind of devolving power and bonuses. So we will see how far down the line that really stretches. Hopefully Grant Thornton will have more to say in November about that. So we await that expectantly. More detail, please, Grant Thornton. Next we'll talk about the EU tax decision around deals that Fiat and Starbucks had with the Netherlands and Luxembourg, respectively, around kind of tax rates and kind of advantageous tax deals. The European Union said that has deemed these illegal, saying that they were effectively receiving state aid, and lots and lots of responses from executives and professionals in the tax profession saying that that basically the EU has overset the mark on this. You know, it's infringing on tax sovereignty, and it makes you think, how is this going to be managed in the future? You know, are the various sovereign states going to have to get clearance from the Commission or the Union each time they want to enter into some kind of tax arrangement with one of the multinationals? It kind of fits in the direction of travel that was outlined by BEPS in the last couple of weeks, which is the OECD project to try and kind of stamp out on tax avoidance and better manage tax arbitrage, transparency of information around tax rates and the like. I also think it's interesting from a kind of British government point of view. Obviously we have a government that currently Tories, and we had a Conservative Lib Dems in the last term. Obviously a lot of fire and brimstone from those guys around dealing with tax avoidance. But you know, George Osborne loves to use tax as a big hook to bring multinationals over into the UK, using tax as an advantage. So none of that really fits together very well, quite frankly. And the worst thing for tax advisors and for finance directors is uncertainty around tax. And this EU deal obviously has created a lot of uncertainty and plenty of headaches. So it'll be interesting to see whether this gets rescinded or pulled back or appealed against. But you know, the direction of travel, the writing on the wall is that the EU and sovereign states are generally getting more aggressive around tax, and that's going to make it harder and harder for businesses to skip around the systems. Unless George Osborne, you know, starts changing rates and trying to lure companies over here to the UK. So we'll see how that all pans out. Last but not least, Accountancy Agent Financial Director. We've got a week left here in Haymarket. We're still over in the Insighted offices. But we have our leaving drinks this evening over at the Hems, which you'll know is just off of Chinatown here in central London. And obviously you're more than welcome to come and have a pint with us and join us. But quite frankly, it might be, the Hems might be somewhere you want to steer clear from tonight. It'll probably be quite messy. But anyway, I think we'll leave it at that. Obviously we've got lots of work to do before we disappear off to the pub again this evening. Thank you to the two sportsmen for having us here, which is a lovely pub here. We really like it. And yeah, we'll miss it when we move. And yeah, I'll see you again on the other side, same time, same place next week.